Aeneas stopped, but while he spoke, Evander for long had scanned his face, his eyes, and all his body. Then he answered in few words, "How willingly I receive you, bravest of the Teucrians. How I recall the words, the voice, the face of great Anchises. And I still remember Priam, son of Laomedon, when he was traveling towards Salamis, for on his way to see the kingdom of Hesione, his sister, he came as visitor to Arcadia's cold boundaries. At that time early youth had clothed my cheeks with down. I marveled at the Trojan captains, and especially at Laomedon's own son. But as he walked, Anchises was the tallest of them all, and with young love I longed to speak to him, to clasp his hand in mine. And I drew near and eager, guided him to Pheneus' walls. Departing, he gave me a splendid quiver and Lycian arrows and a mantle woven with gold, and then a pair of golden bits my palace now has. Therefore my right hand, for which you ask, is joined in league with you, and when the first light of tomorrow turns back to the earth, I shall see that you leave happy with aid. I'll help you as I can. Meanwhile, since you have come as friends, rejoice with us and celebrate this annual rite, which it would be sinful to put off. And now the feast of comrades waits for you." This said, he orders all the food and drink, which had been set aside, brought back again, and guides the guests to places on the grass. And as a sign of honor for Aeneas, invites him to a throne of maple and a couch of shaggy lion skin. Then chosen young men, together with the altar priest, bring in, they rush in eagerness, roast flesh of oxen. And they load the baskets with the gifts that Ceres grants to human labor, and pour out wine. Aeneas, and with him his Trojan comrades, feasted on the whole chine of an ox and sacrificial entrails. When hunger left their need for food at last at rest, then King Evander spoke. It was no empty superstition on our part, and not our ignorance of ancient gods, that laid these solemn rituals on us, this customary feast, this altar sacred to such a mighty presence. Trojan guest, because we have been saved from savage dangers, it is for now this that we sacrifice, that we renew the honors due this worship. But first, look at this cliff with hanging rocks, with boulders scattered far about. The mountain house now is desolate. Its stones are fallen into tremendous ruin. Here a cavern was set back in a vast recess. The rays of sun had never reached it. It was held by the fierce shape of the half-human Caicus. The ground was always warm with recent slaughter, and fastened to the proud doorposts the faces of men hung pale with putrefaction. Vulcan was father of this monster. Those black fires that Caicus belched, and his huge hulk, were Vulcan's. At last, in answer to our prayers, time brought help to us, the coming of a god. For Hercules was here, the great avenger, proud in the slaughter and the spoils of triple-shaped Geryon. He drove his giant oxen as conqueror. His cattle filled the valley and river banks. But then the mind of Cacus was driven wild with frenzy, lest he fail to dare or try all ways of crime or fraud. He stole from pasture 4 remarkable bulls paired together with 4 splendid heifers. He dragged them by the tail into his cavern, so that hoof prints reversed they left no trace, and hid them in dark rocks. No one could find a sign of cattle going to the cave. But meanwhile, when Amphitryon's son had led his well-fed herd out of the pasture, ready to move on elsewhere, as his cattle left, the oxen bellowed. All the grove was filled with their complaints. They moaned across the hills. One heifer answered their outcry. She roared from that vast cavern, even in her prison, and cheated Cacus and his hopes. At this the wrath of Hercules was hot with black gall and with grief. He snatches up his weapons and massive knotted club, makes for a hilltop. That was the first time that our shepherds ever saw Cacus terrified, fear in his eyes. He flies more swiftly than the east wind, seeking the cave, and to his feet fear added wings.